Silas recently got a bug fix, so now you can get level 20 in Chimps without an Energizer due to the tier 3 buff. So I decided to take this and ramp up the best strategy with Silas, the Icicle spam, to a crazy amount where I'm going to get 100,000 cash spare on Flood Valley, which is enough, as you can see, to buy a Ray of Doom outright at the end, which is absolutely crazy. So let's get right into it. To start off, this is an optimization actually of a run by monkey, which pushed just barely over 100,000 cash spare using this strategy, and I really wanted to do a video on it, so I'm going to take that and optimize up to get 101,500 cash spare. So it's a little bit more, it's 1,500 more, but when you put it into context of like how little spent that is, that's a pretty sizable amount, I would say. So there's a few upgrades that I'm going to be trying to cut, a few like optimizations. The first thing here is that I'm going to be cutting a sub. I can go straight into the reactor without getting a second sub at all by getting Silas. It was very annoying to do. There's a lot of micro and all that I had to do, and just a crazy amount of RNG because Silas would keep messing up the sub. It doesn't have like any range, all that. It's just not very nice, but I eventually got through it. From there, I'm able to work into some of the ice monkeys, and then I'll be able to get a reactor. Now, I do have to get air burst on this sub, which is basically useless after I start submerging it. So I was wondering if it was possible to optimize this even further to skip out air burst. But the thing with that is that I'd have to build into ice monkeys, which I'd be buying upgrades without the primary mentoring and discount buff, which is a little bit less than ideal because that's just wasting money. So, and I'd have to get that on top of like some other stuff, so I'm not sure if it's necessarily worth it. If it is, it's only a little bit more cash spare, but that's something I could have possibly looked at working too. Continuing on with the rest of this build, everything went down pretty smooth. I actually did basically this entire run before, but I had to get a few more icicles because this was before the bug fix, where Silas will now gain extra XP for every tier 3 ice monkey on screen. Before, when I did this run, that wasn't a thing, so Silas didn't get up to level 20, but now you can get Silas up to level 20 fairly easily with just a few ice monkeys, like not even a lot on expert maps. On advanced and intermediate, of course, you'd need to get a handful more, but I was just able to get the tier 3s up as fast as possible, and I was able to get level 20 in a pretty good amount of time. I was able to do this and cut a lot of things. So the things that I'm cutting for Monkey's Run is that extra sub And then I'm also playing the discount out a little bit greedier, getting that down super early. And then I'm also going to be cutting a cross path on one of the spike factories, which basically means it's useless when stuff is frozen, besides on round 100, because the bad can't be frozen on round 100. That's what these spike factories are exactly here for, so that's not much of an issue because I need it to be able to beat round 100. But what I am is I'm using these spike factories to be able to beat DDTs very easily, and without that extra cross path, it won't be doing that either. So it's basically going to be kind of useless. I'll be able to use it in very few particular areas, but it's not really going to be doing a whole lot just on that round 100 where it's necessary. So cutting that one upgrade, it's going to save some money, but it's putting a lot of pressure because I don't get that second spike storm. The other one is going to be white hot because I will need that to beat round 95. 95 is very difficult, so it would be kind of crazy if I could cut both of the cross paths completely, but I will 100% need that to be able to beat round 95. I will have Silas level 20, which will help out a lot, so that's kind of the reason why it is possible. But also on top of that, I'm going to be cutting out icicles too. Also, I'm not getting the cross path on the icicles, you're just staying at 014. The tier 2 middle path, so the 020, doesn't really do much of anything. It increases the pierce, and it also increases the freeze duration, which really isn't like the greatest thing, especially for the price. But they already have pretty good pierce in the first place, and there's a good bunch of them, and everything's being slowed, so it's not like pierce is at much of a chokehold. Everything's kind of like filing in one by one due to the impacts of the absolute zero. So all of that's pretty good. And I did this setup like kind of pretty much before with just some changes, so I was able to just kind of build all of it and not care and start saving up for cash spare. We're gonna be starting to save up on round 74. That's what will give you 100,000 cash spare at the end, so we're just gonna be cruising a little bit over it, so that's pretty cool. Flying into the end here, round 95 was very, very cool. That one was very close, but I was luckily able to just barely get through it. It actually did not take that long for the amount of RNG that I was anticipating. Like, everything's just kind of flying through, and some little balloon could very easily just sneak by everything. So when there's rounds like that, I know it's just going to be a crazy RNG fest, and I might be there for like 30 minutes, maybe even 40 minutes, just smacking retry last round button to hopefully get by when there's just like a crazy little inconsistency like that. But it actually surprisingly went down very fast, and what even surprised me is around 98 went down in one try. So I think that on the terms of RNG for this challenge, I got very, very lucky. Normally something that is predicting a scope of this much RNG, it might take me a good while to get something like that crazy LCC on Dark Dungeons that I did a while back with, what was that, 10,000 cash spare on Dark Dungeons. That was crazy RNG. It took me forever to beat some of those rounds, but this time I got very lucky, which I definitely appreciate. 99 was really easy. And then 100 was very, very cool. If you've never seen 2 Spike Storms completely destroy the bat on round 100, well, there you go. Just use the Absolute Zero ability and the level 20 and the insides go down. And yeah, that's 101.5 thousand cash bear. Very, very cool, and this is a very strong Silas strategy.
Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye!